to Pica Poco Kitchen. Today we're making caldo de camarón, shrimp broth. For one last time this year, vámonos. You know what? I've been thinking lately that we Mexicans have a particular talent for making very good food for late at night. And I mean, if I say so myself, we have a very good talent for food in general. I'm kind of biased. But when I mean food for late at night, I'm talking about hearty dishes that are consumed after 9, you know? And I think it has to do with the fact that we like to party and we like to gather and we stay up late. So I guess that in these gatherings, we like to dance and be together. So in the middle of it, we need to replenish the energy with something hearty and, substantial, which probably explains why late at night when I'm scrolling on Pinterest or Instagram and so on, I don't crave just, a sandwich or a cookie. I want something big and probably inappropriate if I'm planning to just go back to sleep. Anyway, caldo de camarón is definitely a staple in many households in Mexico throughout the holiday season. We definitely had it either for Christmas or New Year's or both. All my aunts have their own secrets and recipes, but it is just delicious. And it gives you this feeling not just because it's spicy, but because the broth itself is warm. It gives you the feeling to want to be outside in the posada, breaking a piñata, singing with your primos, primas, with your tios and tias, and just having a blast and not to worry about the cold weather. Caldo de camarón is a fairly simple dish that I think if you like seafood, because this is not for the faint-hearted. Those people who don't like seafood, they might want to stay away from it. But if you like seafood, this is such a rich broth that is definitely gonna give you a lot of energy. This is one of my favorites. Stay along. I'm gonna tell you how to do a simplified version of it. I know I say simplified and then I come up with a little bit of complicated things, but I promise you it's just a few steps, not that many. And you're gonna enjoy it. So let's get cracking. Start by chopping 2 medium potatoes in small dices and 4 skinny carrots or 2 small ones. I like to use skinny because then the chopping is easier. Put both in 2.5 cups of water and bring them to a fast boil. Turn it off after 5 minutes and let them cool. I have 350 grams of shrimp with shell on. I took out the caquita of all of them and I'm gonna peel them but reserve the skins. If you are lucky enough to find the shrimps with the head, you will also be using those later. What we're doing here is building up the flavor of the broth. If you can't find shrimps with the shells on, or you only have them already peeled, then try to find dry shrimp. My mom and my aunt Olga like to use those because they really bring up the broth and they also flavor with salt. So you don't need to add as much. My aunt Liana also likes to use a whole fish with head on. Later, she takes off the head of the fish, which gives a fabulous flavor to the broth, and uses the flesh to thicken up the broth, which is amazing. While we build the broth, set aside your shrimp and keep it cool. I'm gonna saute in some oil 1 small onion and 3 garlic cloves. To that, we're gonna start adding the flavor. I'm gonna add 2 ancho peppers, 5 Guajillo peppers. Now, traditionally, these broths should be spicy. Some people like to use morita instead. If you just want some flavor but not spicy, just stick with the Guajillo. Then we're gonna add the shrimp shells. They're gonna start releasing that wonderful flavor. Because I like mine spicy, I'm gonna add 5 Árbol peppers. I hope it's not too much so my mother-in-law can enjoy it. Now we're gonna add 4 Roma tomatoes. Make sure they're ripe so they release the sweetness to balance the spiciness. And we are going to add 2 cups of water to finish cooking everything up. Cover it and let it sit in the fire for a few minutes. Once that's ready and everything is soft, we are going to take everything, including the shells, and blend it up. Don't worry, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it's gonna be worth it. If you're adding your heads, you're gonna want to blend that too, also for the dry shrimp. Before bringing back the base of our broth to the pan, we need to strain it. We just want the infused flavors, we don't need the texture. This is gonna take a little bit of time, but just be patient and make sure to squeeze every bit of flavor out of your base. If you were using the whole fish, then the head doesn't go in the blender, just take that out and also separate the meat if you're using the whole fish, just to make sure you leave no bones behind. Now that our base is ready, it's time to start salting. I suggest you to do it in small increments and continue test because it's very easy to oversalt. If you use the dry shrimp, that will bring already some salt to your dish, so be careful with whatever extras you add. In my case, because this is a simplified version, I really like to use shrimp bouillon. If you can find it, don't worry, you can still use salt. We're gonna add 2 more cups of water and start salting. Here is my shrimp bouillon. I don't know how easy it is to find, but like I said before, if you can find it, then just go for salt. I did use 3 shrimp bouillon and half a tablespoon of salt. You could also, if you wish to, add some herbs like cilantro, which gives it a nice brightness, or epazote, which is a bit too strong for my taste. Now in comes the secret ingredient that's gonna give that silky texture to our broth. I'm adding my potatoes and carrots that are half cooked with all the water that they were cooked in, because that water contains all the starch from those potatoes which are gonna help thicken our broth and give that nice texture that I'm talking about. Let's finish cooking the carrots and the potatoes before we add the shrimp. I checked that my carrots and potatoes are fully cooked, so now it's time to add my shrimp. I'm adding an extra 100 grams of shrimp with tails just because I like the looks of it. I would like it even better if they had the heads. I know it's kind of weird and inconvenient, but honestly, it's a personal choice. If you want, you can add an extra 100 grams of already peeled shrimp. That will be fine too. But I think it gives it more of a sea look. I don't know. Maybe it's weird. Now let's finish cooking the shrimp, and it's just gonna take a few minutes, so keep your eyes on it. Don't forget to taste and make sure it's good with salt. At this point, we're almost ready. Just look at those shrimps, look at those potatoes, and check that silky broth. It's looking amazing. Now we're ready to serve. Then here it is. I let it cool a little bit because I don't want to burn my mouth like I do every time. And of course, it wouldn't be a Mexican dish if you didn't add tons and tons of lime. This is very Mexican, as you can see. Oopsie. Okay, I'm back. All right. Let me let me see how this one turned out. Mm, it is so good. And it is traditional to serve it in a little mug or a cup. So you can, walk around in the posada, yell to the person who's breaking the piñata, or go in the chisme and keep dancing. And of course, so you can drink the delicious broth. Mm, it's glorious. It truly is. Well, just in time for your New Year celebration. If you're into seafood, if you want something that's gonna keep you going, give it a try. Definitely spicy. I'll ask my mother in law what she thinks of it. I was trying to make it milder so she can enjoy it, but she will let me know what she thinks of it. And to close this year properly, I want to take a moment to thank all of you for watching, for following along, for liking and commenting. It is a pleasure to share with you recipes and a little bit of my culture. I can wait for next year. There's going to be more recipes, more stories, more little tips and bits. And I wish you a very happy new year, full of good health and great moments with the people that you love. From my kitchen to yours, happy new year. And I'll see you next year. For now, I wish you like and enjoy this video. Please share it with your friends. Like, subscribe, and be notified. And for more, follow me on the socials. So far, adios, amigues.